All new Sundays.
Even after all these years, I never tire of this view.
Your favorite community returns.
Action!
With open arms and open hearts.
Do you think they're official?
Hello, Bill.
Hello, Georgie.
We've sure had adventures in these woods.
Hopefully we'll have some more.
And the moment you've been waiting for.
Don't mess this up.
The all-new season of When Calls the Heart. New episode Sundays at 8 on Hallmark Channel. Next day on Hallmark Plus.
Well, first of all, let's congratulate you guys on Hallmark giving you guys a renewal already for the next season 14.
I know it's the first time it's ever happened that we've received a renewal before our season has aired. It's always been like, especially once we got past season 7, it's kind of been like, yeah, we're probably going again, like an assumption, because our numbers have always been good and the show's working, but we haven't ever received it until kind of like midway through the season airing or whatnot, what have you. And so this is just such a nice little treat.
It has to make you and the cast feel good that not only are you getting support from the fans, obviously, because they love you guys, but the network is behind you as well, Hallmark, with like this early renewal.
100%. I mean, the show, it's kind of one of those perfect lightning in a bottle things where it's like you need to have a show that hits with fans and that fans really respond to. You need to have just whatever that kind of intangible chemistry that you have with a cast and a crew. And then you have to have like it to be on the right network where the network is going to support it.
Mm-hmm. You have to think about a show like this is in rare territory. I mean, you're going into 14 seasons right now with this show. That doesn't happen in today's TV landscape. Rarely doesn't happen.
I don't think it was like even on like the forecast of possible dreams for any of us when we signed on to the show in season 1 or 2. Like those of us who have been on since pretty early on, like it honestly like didn't even occur to us that this was even a possibility. I remember Kevin and I having so many conversations where I was like, if we can just get to 7, like 7 would be so cool to have a show be on for 7. And now we're like double that.
Your character has such a journey. I remember when I talked to you when you first joined the show, and I don't want to say hate, but dislike your character had from the fans to where she's at now. It's been one hell of a journey for your character. And right now I see her as one of the pillars of the show.
Oh, well, I mean, I feel like that too, but it's nice to receive that feedback and hear that from other people because I think of her that way, but I also like am so grateful that they did that they allowed the character to grow and evolve, because it would have been after 14 years, it would have been redundant and a bit of a drag to play the same character over and over again. Of course, there's like those like pillars of Rosemary's character that, like are always going to be part of who she is. But she's grown as a human being, and like her perspective on the world and her perspective on her values and how she aligns herself, that has changed and evolved, which has been great. It's been made it dynamic and exciting all these years.
I see her as one of these jack of all trades, because if you think about it, she's a wife, she's a mother, she runs the Valley Voice, she has the new radio show now, and she's also helping Bill with criminal investigations. So she has become such a valuable part of this show.
Yeah, and I mean, it's an extension of who she is as a person too, which is she is a bit of a nosy Nelly. So it would have been odd to like allocate her or relegate her to just one area. She is the woman who's going to be like doing it all and doing it well and getting involved. And they've really embraced that.
To this day, I love what you do with this character as far as the little things, the facial expressions, the hand gestures that she does. Is that something that you constantly think about when you're on screen with this character? And has that evolved over the years, if that makes sense?
Yeah, definitely has evolved. I mean, how could it not, right? The more you get to know the character and the more varied situations you end up in as that character, of course you evolve, and the physicality. I think my character is actually the most physical of anybody on the entire
Absolutely.
show, and
Yeah.
so it is something that has evolved, but it is also something that I think about, and I try and think about different ways that Rosemary could move through space, move through a scene. And, the hand gestures, that's become like a real extension of
Yeah.
her performance element. So that feels quite natural. But I definitely do kind of go through my scenes with a fine tooth comb and look at where those moments could be, because I don't want to miss any of them. But then
Hmm.
equally, it's always fun when I, like, in the moment, discover something new.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, I didn't think that. But I mean, so much of it is like, and this is my favorite thing, is that I'll do my homework, I will come up with an idea, but then I show up on set, and then you get to collaborate and incorporate your idea with what the hair department say wants to do with your hair, or you show up and the costume has put, like, our wardrobe department has put this wardrobe in your closet, and you're like, oh, I didn't know I was going to wear this exactly. Okay, that might change things a bit. Or the props department. That's always the big wild card for me, because Rosemary often is given a lot of props to do.
Yeah.
And I will envision it one way, and then sometimes that isn't available, or sometimes they have a different vision, or the director has a different vision. And so I'll show up and they'll, like, present me with something else, or something I haven't envisioned at all. And they're like, oh, here's something we have for you. And I'll have this moment of going, okay, can I work this in? Can I not work this in? And I often ask for, like, with the props, they'll say, do you want this? And I'll say, give me a few minutes. Like, I need a few minutes to see if I can integrate it into an organic way, but also into a purposeful way, like something that's going to add something to the scene, not just be there to be there. And I almost always say yes, because I think props are funny. Ultimately, I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it's, like, usually funny, and it's usually gives you a way to show off your character, so that rather than like, for example, like, say Rosemary moves through the crowd and sits down on a chair. Well, if they give me, I mean, this is an exact example. If they give me a bullhorn, well, that's like a totally different way of moving, and
Hmm.
it informs your character, and it makes your character more distinct and unique. And so that's why I'm usually always game to take a prop. And so the original question was about the physicality, and, like, so it's kind of like a little bit of everything, but
Hmm.
I'm usually always game for it. The one thing is Erin always gives me a hard time. She's like, the show's 1922 now. um, I think I might be the only person still wearing a corset on the show. And she's like, why are you still doing this? You should drop the corset. And for me, it's never been a vanity thing. For me, it's been because the physicality of Rosemary is so specific, and it was born out of like that corset, and how she has to hold herself, and how she has to present herself, and all these things. And so I'm so reticent to give up the corset, because I'm like, well, the movement will be totally different, and
Hmm.
I feel like the movement is so much of who she is.
Hmm. You mentioned Aaron, and as you guys know, you both know, you two are my favorite scenes have been between you two, the dramatic ones and the funny ones as well. Can you talk
Yes.
about this synergy you have with Aaron Krakow? And do you ever get a chance where sometimes I feel like you guys are improvising some stuff that you do, and it just makes me laugh. Is that true?
Yes, yes, we do have moments. I mean, it's just a natural evolution. Like, nobody knows these characters as well as Aaron knows Elizabeth and I know Rosemary. Like, nobody, not the writers, not anybody, because we've not had anybody who's been with these characters as intensely and exclusively as we have. And so, if you've done scenes together for so long, there's natural things that might just evolve in a
So
kind of
funny.
improvised way. And so, and also because Aaron and I know each other so well, like we truly are like best friends. And because we know each other so well off camera and on camera, there's just a real fluidity to what her and I pass back and forth to each other. So we try to never deviate from the script in terms of like story structure, but adding in little things that add
Oh
that kind
yeah.
of charm and familiarity that comes with a long, long friendship. I think that that adds to this relationship and also what people respond to. Her and I also do go through our scenes quite a bit together, and we'll be like, we often will be like, why don't you take this line? Why don't you take this line, and then I can do this action or this reaction. Or she'll be like, why don't you take my line? She goes, it seems like you're the one who's driving the scene, so I think you should be having more of the lines. You should take these lines. And so we're very, very fluid like that. Like we just working on it together to find the best version of a scene.
Some of my favorite scenes, well, one of my favorite scenes this season was when you were trying to find out what Lee was up to and found out that Hickham and him were heading off somewhere, and you were
Oh
trying to
my
find out
gosh.
what was going on, and you were in the
I
woods.
know. And then I mean, that's a classic Rosemary and Elizabeth dynamic. Elizabeth, being the good friend she is, wants to support Rosemary, but Rosemary just takes her on these wild goose chases and hijinks all over the
It's
place.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's very fun. That's one of my favorites. Like those sorts of scenes are my favorite. It's the same thing, like that same dynamic that happened when Rosemary decided she was gonna like break the case on that Ava Riella, and she's like got them out on the balcony and
Oh
peeking
my
through
God.
windows, and it's that same sort of thing. Like
She
Elizabeth would have
jumped out,
never
she's like,
done that
ha!
on her own.
And she jumped out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just watching you guys on screen is just a thrill. Speaking of synergy, you and Kevin. I mean, what can you say about that dynamic? I was thinking about it today. I wrote down in my little notebook, I said, I think Lee could be the only person that could be married to Rosemary.
True, true, true. He's got such a love and adoration for her, but at the same time, puts her in her place when she needs to be reined in. And I think
But
that's
not in a cool or
exactly.
mean way, though. You know what I mean?
No, no, in such a loving, kind way. I
Exactly.
mean, not unlike my relationship with my own husband, I'll be honest.
Speaking of Lee, there was a really interesting dynamic this season with him and Lucas and the tension they had between those two. I really enjoyed seeing that side of those two characters. And do you feel that tension between those two and the tension that, like, maybe say Rosemary and Elizabeth had early on in this series
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
adds to the depth of their characters and their friendships?
Yeah, I think it makes it more interesting. It would be ridiculous if we're meant to believe that these are true friendships and it's all just like rainbows and puppy dogs all the time. Like there to have relationships that have some depth, there is going to be some friction sometime. And so, like, obviously Rosemary and Elizabeth started kind of antagonistic, and I thought it was really cool that they decided to evolve that into a friendship. And
Yeah.
then, if you remember, then there was like a moment. Now, what season was it in? It's maybe season 9, where there was also some friction between Rosemary and Elizabeth, where Elizabeth was the reporter and Rosemary was the reporter, and Elizabeth was like sharing some news but withholding some news, and like there was like this real friction where, and they had to talk that out. And I'll be honest, Aaron and I hated acting that. We were like, we hate this. There's all this like tension between us. But I think it added to the depth of their relationship. And same thing with Kevin and Chris with the Lee and Lucas relationship. We don't see that often on our show. Like
No.
the male friendship, and especially the male friendship when there's like friction in it. And so that I thought was really exciting that they put that into the show, because we just hadn't done that before. We hadn't done that ever, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. One of the really fun pairings this season was Bill and Rosemary. And I'm wondering if the writers looked at what happened in season 12 and said, or season 11, and decided, hey, we need to bring those two together again, some way, somehow.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I think it was too good to pass up. I mean, and Jack and I would be the first to agree to that. We had so much fun, and I've told this story before, but Erin phoned me because she's an EP on the show, and so she's seeing scripts before they get released to the rest of the cast, and she said, "I'm seeing some stories breaking." This was leading into season 11, and she said, there's quite a strong like Rosemary and Bill story. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because we haven't seen it before. And I was like, oh, I never even thought about it. And I was like, I think that could really work.
Oh yeah.
And then when we started seeing the scenes, I mean, their energies together, it's so funny, those two together. And I think anytime you put two characters together that are very different but have to work together and have to acknowledge the strength that the other person brings to the table, but like they both kind of get under each other's skin, that's like the best dynamic, in my opinion, of seeing in a TV show or a movie or anything. And so that's their dynamic, and so it was super fun to continue that in season 12.
We found out one of the big main stories near the end of the season is little Jack finds out he has diabetes.
Yes.
And I think probably my favorite scene you've done in this entire series, there's a scene where you're in a scene with Minnie, and you guys are talking about little Jack having diabetes, and you're like, I have to keep working. I must keep working. You have all these emotions on your face at the same time. You're thinking about
Right.
you're Goldie. You're thinking about little Jack. You're thinking about Elizabeth. And she
Yeah.
tells you it's okay to feel. Can you talk about that scene? Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what scene you're talking
That's
about.
my favorite scene of yours you've done in the entire series.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, that's so nice to hear that. Yeah, I mean, it felt like a very natural, I mean, that feels like a natural reaction for Rosemary to just want to keep busy, and she's always the person to get involved and try and like proactively help in a situation. And I thought it was wonderful. Natasha brings this like really grounded, rooted kind of energy to Minnie. Minnie's always so calm, and it was nice for her. She's the perfect person to kind of just tell Rosemary to slow down and just feel. And so, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a very natural, great scene between the two of us.
My second favorite scene this season, and I know, and again, I was like, I know Pascale did this on her, and this was improvisation. When she kicked the door open for the potluck and had the big pie, please tell me that was improv.
It was, and you know why? Because Ellie, who plays Goldie, she is heavy. She is so heavy, and when we're outside at the row houses, it's like a playground for her, like all the bugs and the rocks and so to keep her in one spot, to walk into that scene, I had to hold her. Like I really had to like hold her up. Otherwise she was going to like wander all over the place. So I was holding her. And then this is another example of like, so props brings me this pie. First off, it's a real pie. It's not a fake pie. And they had put it in this pie plate that was the heaviest pie plate I had ever lifted.
It looked heavy.
It was so heavy. So I have her in one hand and I have the pie in the other hand. And I was like, how am I going to get through this door? Like how literally am I going to do this? And so I was just like, I got to like just plow my way. Yeah. And so that's how that ended up coming to be, that like frantic, frenetic, like crazy, like energetic entrance into that scene.
It was hilarious.
Like, yeah, that's why. And that's what I mean. Like I didn't envision that scene playing, like that entrance being that way. But then once you get like the props and stuff, you're like, oh, now I know what this scene is about.
But when you do it, you say that's something Rosemary would do. Totally something she would do.
Exactly.
There's another, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but there's a scene where Misu is trying to teach you and Elizabeth, or Rosemary and Elizabeth, how to dance.
Charleston. Yeah.
And there's like a slow motion section in that scene. Is that something that's never been done before? I don't ever remember seeing slow motion
No,
before.
that was brand new that
Okay.
season. And we didn't really, because we'd never done it before. And when we were filming it, we kept on doing so many passes. And it was like this handheld camera with this specific lens on it. And it was like this whole thing. And we didn't really have a vision of it. Like me and Aaron and Amanda during the scene, we were like, we're doing it again. Like, haven't we got it by now? But it was so specific, and to get all those cuts, right? Like of the feet and of the slow motion and the faces. And like, we did it so many times. And then when I finally saw it all edited together, I was like, well, now I
That's
get
why.
it.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I understand what we were doing. You don't always know, especially like when they're introducing something brand new that we've never done before.
Real quick, can we talk a little bit about the actress who plays Allie? She has
Yes,
stepped
Jada,
her. She is so good in this
she's so
show.
good. She
So
is so
good.
good. She's so wonderful. She's such a strong actor. And I mean, she's a really strong actor, but she's a wonderful, wonderful human being. She's like full of energy. She's super warm. She's super personable. She knows what's going on in everybody's life. And then also she like always brings, and this is like the sweetest thing. She brings anytime she's in a scene that she knows, oh, I'm going to be in a scene or a couple scenes with the little ones, like with Goldie or little Jack or Lily, like any of the little ones, she brings like a whole little, basically like tickle trunk, like a backpack full of games and toys and
Wow.
activities that she can play with them in between scenes. And the kids love her. And that's above and beyond. That is not her job requirement, but she just is like, no, I'm here. And so I'm going to be as helpful and as positive as I can. She's a wonderful, wonderful human being, like great actor, but even better person.
One of the final questions I have for you. Another character that's coming to his own is Hickham. And what I
Yes.
like about that character, especially when Rosemary gets annoyed by Hickham, she yells the way you yell his name is so, it just makes me laugh so loud.
Well, you
Hickham.
know what? So the first few seasons, he was always written into the script as Hickham. That was
Mhm,
his name. And
mhm.
that's what was scripted. Rosemary always called him. So I want to say it was like for the first 5 seasons, he was always Hickham. And then I can't remember, but suddenly a script came in and he was Mike. And we were all like,
Who's
Mike,
Mike?
what? That's your name? Like, what is happening? And I was like, Rosemary has spent 5 years calling him Hickham. There's absolutely no logical reason why she would suddenly change
Right,
to calling him
right.
Mike. And I was like, Hickham till I die. And so, so that's become like this whole thing. And I've always been a huge Ben Rosenbaum fan, a Hickham fan. Rosemary and Hickham, they've always been a funny little duo together
Hmm.
since day one. Like
Hmm.
the first, maybe not Rosemary's first scene, but early on in season 1, in my first episode, she walks into the mercantile. And at that time, Hickham was working behind the counter and he was like in love with her. He was like, oh, who is this?
I remember it.
Anyways,
Yeah.
they've had this long-standing relationship, and I love it. I love their dynamic. I love it whenever they plan stuff for us, and even when they don't. There was a scene coming up this season 13. It's not giving anything away to say that Rosemary is directing something. And
Yes.
yeah, it's really Rosemary at her finest. But they came to me and they had all these props for me, all these props. But also, it was like there was so much action. Like I had so much to do and I had to move in and out and like fix people's costumes. And I was like, I literally can't do this this is too much. I'm talking too much. I'm walking too much. I'm like got too much activity to have all these props. I was like, I can only do one prop. One prop is all I can do in this scene. And I was like, I know, bring me Ben. Hickham will be my right-hand man who's like got all my props and is handing me the
That's
thing.
going to be
It
awesome.
was like, and he, of course, the best thing about Ben Rosenbaum, you give him like one little thing and he fills it out and turns it into the most hilarious bit. And he is so funny in the episode because on the page, he was in the scene, but didn't have like a ton of activity to do. And then he was like, oh, now I know what I'm doing. And he turned it into the funniest bit. He's so funny in the scene. It's a great Rosemary and Hickham bit.
And I think finally, at this recent Hallmark convention, Lori Laughlin was introduced back to the fans. It looks like she's
Yes.
going to be back in the show.
Yes, she's coming back for season 14, and I believe she's going to do 6 out of our 12 episodes, and everybody's thrilled. Has stayed a dear friend all these years, despite not being on the show. And I think everybody's kind of held out hope that at some point it would make sense for her to come back, both for Lori personally, but also for the show and story-wise. And this just feels like the right moment.
Yeah, that was my question. What does it feel like to have her back personally, and what does it mean to the show to have her come back?
I
Because
mean,
she's
it
been
just feels
missed.
like she's been dearly missed, personally and professionally. And so it sort of feels uh, like it completes the circle, kind of like, I feel like there's always been like kind of this hole when her character and Lori wasn't there. Like she was there since day one. She was always kind of like this steady voice, both on screen and off. And I think everybody's just thrilled that it'll feel so. I think it'll be like pick up without missing a beat, is what I think it'll end up being.
And finally, I think one of the great things about this show being on for so long is not only do you get to see characters develop, but you get to see people in their personal lives develop. The kids have grown on this
I
show. It's so
know.
crazy to see Opal, how she looks right now. She's
I
grown.
know she was just like a itty bitty thing, like honestly, not much older than Goldie. And
Yeah.
here she is, she's like a woman, a young
Yeah.
woman now. Yeah, I mean, what a treat. What a treat for all of us to be able to watch them all grow up right before our eyes.
Well, congratulations to you. You know, I'm a huge fan of what you do on that show, and
Thank you.
we're looking forward to the new season. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much.